The truth about austerity. It's presented as a responsible, necessary, even moral choice. But in practice, austerity is a political decision that often deepens the very problems it claims to solve. It's not an economic law. It's not inevitable. And it rarely delivers what its advocates promise. Here's the clear, structured breakdown you like: sharp, digestible, and grounded in widely discussed research and reporting. 1. Austerity is sold as tightening the belt, but governments aren't households. The common justification is, we must cut spending to reduce debt, just like a family would. But economists often point out that governments can create money, can borrow long-term at low interest, must invest in public services to keep society functioning, trigger recessions when they cut spending during downturns. So the household analogy is misleading. Austerity is a choice, not an inevitability. 2. Austerity tends to hit workers, not wealth. Austerity usually targets public services, welfare, local councils, healthcare, education, social care. Meanwhile, tax breaks or favorable treatment for capital, assets, and high earners often remain untouched. This means the burden falls on people who rely on public systems, not those with financial cushions. 3. Austerity slows economic recovery. Many analyses of past austerity programs show that cutting spending during or after a crisis often reduces growth, increases unemployment, lowers consumer spending, weakens long-term productivity. In other words, austerity can make recessions longer and deeper. 4. Austerity increases inequality. When public services shrink, the wealthy can buy private alternatives. Everyone else faces longer NHS wait times, fewer childcare options, reduced social care, underfunded schools, declining local services. This widens the gap between rich and poor, not because of individual choices, but because of structural decisions. 5. Austerity is often justified by fear, not evidence. The narrative usually goes, if we don't cut now, the economy will collapse. But critics argue that this fear-based framing simplifies complex economic issues, hides alternative solutions, shifts blame onto public spending instead of structural inequality, protects powerful interests. Austerity becomes a story, one that shapes public perception even when the data doesn't support it. 6. The alternative: investment, not cuts. Many economists and policy researchers argue that societies can strengthen their economies by investing in healthcare, education, and infrastructure, supporting households during downturns, taxing wealth more effectively, closing loopholes, funding social safety nets, stimulating demand rather than suppressing it. These approaches aim to create long-term stability rather than short-term cuts. The real truth: austerity is not a neutral economic tool. It's a political choice that tends to shift burdens downward, weaken public systems, slow recovery, widen inequality. The truth is simple. Austerity rarely fixes the economy, it reshapes society. And the people who feel it most are rarely the ones who cause the crisis.